morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Saturday the 30th of January. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar. It's a bullish start to the day. Going to need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 34,984 to take a run on the first major resistance level, sitting at 37,980. We need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 37,000 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 38,000 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, you should see Bitcoin test resistance at 40,000 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 41,707. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the 23.6% fib at 33,008 and the first major support level at 31,256 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 30,000 levels. Second major support level sits at 28,260. Looking at the MACD, you've got a slight narrowing of the bearish histograms after yesterday's bearish cross, supporting slight upside in the morning. On the EMA, however, we had the bullish cross of the 50 through the 200, supporting early morning gains, with the 50 holding its ground against the 100 and the 200. So key through the early part of the day would be to move through that pivot at 34,984 and break back through to 37,000 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, also bullish start to the day. Going to need to Ethereum avoid a fall through the pivot at 1370 to take a run at the first major resistance level of 1453. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 1400 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1442.88 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ethereum test resistance at 1500 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1526. A fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1297 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should still well clear of sub 1200 levels. Second major support level at 1214 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, you've got a narrowing of the bearish histograms with a possible bullish cross formation, so need to keep an eye on that through the early part of the day. On the EMAs, we're seeing the 50 move away marginally from the 100 and the 200, supporting early morning upside. So keep through the early part of the day, avoid the pivot at 1370, break back through to 1400s to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, the support levels are in play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, it's been a mixed start to the morning for Litecoin. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 137.46 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 143.33. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break back through to 140s, however. So buying an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and the 23.6% fib at 148 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, could see Litecoin test resistance at 150 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 151.74. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 129.05 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid the second major support level at 123.18. The 38.2% fib at 125 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, you got a slight narrowing of the bearish histograms, but nothing conclusive to suggest upside through the morning. So that's bearish on the MACDs. On the EMA, 50's held its ground against the 100 and the 200, so nothing conclusive there as yet either. So key through the early part of the day would be for Litecoin to break through the pivot at 137.46 and back through to 140s to bring resistance levels into play. Failures to do that and support levels will be in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, slightly bullish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.2868 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 0.3133. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break out from 0.30 levels and back through to 0.31 levels. Barring an extended rally on day, resistance at 0.30 would likely leave Ripple's XRP short of that first major resistance level. In the event of another breakout, could see Ripple's XRP test resistance at the 23.6% fib at 0.3172 and resistance at 0.32 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.3435. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support levels at 0.2566 into play. Buying an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should steer clear of sub 0.25 levels. Second major support level sits at 0.2301. Looking at the MACDs, we had a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day, suggestive of further downside. On the EMAs, however, we've seen the 50 move away from the 100 and the 200, and the 100 close in on the 200, supporting the early morning move northwards. So key through the early part of the day for Ripple's XRP to break back through the pivot at 0.2868 and back through to 0.30 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, the support levels will be in play.